Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? We couldn't get Keanu, so we just got Jason Patrick. We got a bigger budget, and this time, a cruise ship. You're stuck in a really bad sequel. I'm John Renton with the retro view of Speed 2 Cruise Control, written and directed by Jan de Bont. Is that how it's said? I don't really goddamn know. I don't really goddamn care, because this is one of the worst sequels of the last 30 goddamn years. Speed was really, really great. I think it was called The Bus That Couldn't Slow Down. This was called The Ship That Really Should Have Never Gotten Going. You know, in theory, a sequel to Speed actually could have kind of worked, but it was like this fucking sequel was snakebit. I mean, Sandra Bullock was the only mainstay returning character. A couple of others showed up. Joe Morton in particular in the very beginning, because we had to tie it back to the first one. Check out my retro view of Speed. I really enjoyed rewatching Speed. I did not enjoy rewatching Speed 2 Cruise Control, because I remember watching it in theaters thinking, okay, this movie's pretty bad, but I was also 16 when it came out, so maybe it's aged. No, it hasn't. Jan de Bont, by the way, did the first Speed. He also did Twister. That's something I will retro review at some point, because a sequel to Twister called Twisters is coming out. Unfortunately, Bill Paxton will not be in that. Bill Paxton was not in this. He was doing other stuff. Stuff certainly better than Speed 2 Cruise Control. And Jan de Bont also did The Haunting and Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life. Ever since then, he hasn't directed anything. He's done other stuff on films. I don't really know. The man was old when Tomb Raider Cradle of Life came out, so maybe he just didn't want to take on the responsibilities. Or maybe they realized that pretty much after Twister, he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. This is based on the characters by Graham Yost. Check out his IMDb page. You will see that he's had a hand in a lot of movies. Some good and some hoo-hoo. Written by two other people. Two other people needed to write a movie about Willem Dafoe's teeth taking over a cruise ship. That's mean, but after seeing Inside, I'm pretty much irritated with Willem Dafoe. And this, actually, that's unfair, because he was not even in the prime of his career. He was still building up at this point. Randall McCormick, who did Titan AE and Blue Crush 2. A man that had a hand in writing Titan AE did this. I'm not saying Titan AE was the best goddamn, like animated movie ever, except I think it's vastly underappreciated, but when I retro reviewed that was a lot of fun. And also Jeff Nathanson, who did Rush Hour 2, Rush Hour 3, Catch Me If You Can, with Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio, Indiana Jones 4, which actually explains quite a bit, and also the 2019 version of The Lion King. So pretty much Rush Hour 2 was about his peak. Annie, Sandra Bullock, it turns out that her last name was Porter. She returned for this, and oh boy, you want to talk about some factoids about this movie that proved it was snakebit. Let's talk about the cast first. Jason Patrick, and Jason Patrick got a bad rap. He's not a bad actor. Willem Dafoe is in this. Tamura Morrison, did I say that wrong? Probably. Brian McCarty, not Brian McKnight, because I assume that Brian McCarty actually talks to his kids, unlike Brian McKnight. If you know, you know. Yeah, Joe Morton was in this. And then also, remember the guy that who Keanu Reeves wrecked his car? Sir, I need to take your phone. Take the phone. That guy? Yeah, the guy with the dreads. Yeah, he's in this at the very end. By the way, yeah, retro reviews have all spoilers. Why? This movie has been out for about 26 fucking years by this point. So, yes. John Geiger, Willem Dafoe, was fired from his job working on software for various cruise liners, and now he is out for revenge. He hacks the system and sends it on a collision course, all in the name of stealing some ship diamonds. And only Jason Patrick's Alex and Sandra Bullock's Annie can stop him, and also a few other people. A few other people whose names escape me. There was one guy that was very, very Scottish or Irish, or he could have been Welsh. Look at him, doesn't he run like a Welshman? Sorry to any people from Wales that are watching this. So yeah, the ship's out on a collision course. This time you need to slow down the ship instead of speeding up like the bus. Where to start with this stuff? Let's get into the factoids. So let's talk about Gary Oldman turning down a role to do Air Force One. I think he made the better choice. Gary Oldman is the villain in this. I'm not saying that Gary Oldman couldn't have made this work, except Gary Oldman would have made a mistake turning down Air Force One, including Wolfgang Peterson saying, having to have somebody other than Gary Oldman getting punched out to plane. Willem Dafoe, I mean, if Harrison Ford's fist collided with Willem Dafoe's teeth, good God, he would have broke his hand. I'll stop knocking Willem Dafoe one of these days. No, I won't. He's actually a very good actor. He's strange, but he's a very good actor. No one had a good time making it. Jason Patrick describes it as being miserable. Sandra Bullock stated kind of jokingly in a 2000 interview that this was the biggest piece of crap ever made. It was really, really bad. I mean, this was doomed to fail. It was a few minutes longer than the first one, and it felt like it was about 3 hours. Siskel and Ebert gave this 2 thumbs up. Siskel and Ebert gave this 2 thumbs up. So maybe they can rate better movies in the afterlife. I mean, good God. Granted, I'm not saying I agree with every film critic and they're allowed to have opinions, but really? Really? They gave this 2 thumbs up? I mean, I don't know if it was a grand, like, oh, hell yeah, it's great, but maybe they found it entertaining. I mean, that's fine. Maybe they were sick at that point. I think Siskel was, because unfortunately he went before Ebert did. This is mean-spirited. Let's get back to the review. No one had a good time making it, as I said. Sandra Bullock got paid $11.5 million for her role. She earned every penny, despite the fact that the comedy attempts that she had weren't good at all. This was really, really bad. This was really terrible. I mean, she couldn't have made it work. Anyway, she's a terrific actress and looked great at one point. Like, who's ready to party? Oh, I'll fucking party with you, 90 Sandra Bullock, any day of the week. And Jason Patrick also got paid handsomely, and they used their funds to, some of their payoffs to help fund other projects. Hope Floats a year later that I believe had Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. Was that there or the Lake House? I don't remember. I'm genuinely forgetting that. And Jason Patrick also did Your Friends and Neighbors. So you know what? They used some of the money that they got from this tripe to do passion projects. So, yay. So anyway, Keanu made the devil's advocate and got to, at one point, bang Connie Nielsen and Charlize Theron in the movie. Sign me the fuck up. Sign me the fuck up now. I don't care if they were, young back then or what their ages are now. They still look great. They look incredible. Anyway, let's get back to this. Yeah, apparently he wanted to tour with his band Dog Star. I completely forgot that Keanu Reeves had a band. I remember Russell Crowe had a band, but I didn't remember Keanu Reeves had a band. And apparently Fox was pissed, and they slandered him and said, oh, he just wanted to tour with his band. Not that he wanted to go make another movie, Devil's Advocate, that was actually better, far better than this, and it was weird. I need to retro review Devil's Advocate. I'll do that at some point. By the way, to anybody that has suggested I retro review various movies over the last couple years, I write down what I can. I got lists all over the goddamn place. I will get to them if I can. If I haven't gotten to your request, please comment here, and I'll do what I can. If you had commented before and you thought I forgot, please comment, and I'll try to write that shit down if I haven't. Speed made a lot of money. $350 million gross worldwide. Well, 350 and change. 121.2 in the U.S. and Canada on a $30 million budget. That's great. That's good shit. Speed 2 wasn't so lucky. A $164.5 million worldwide gross. Half, well, little less than half actually. 48.6 in the US and Canada. Ouch. $160 million budget. Fox had it listed at 120. Even if it was 120, with the advertising campaign and with, because I remember this heavily being advertised. I mean, I don't remember a lot of things, but I do remember seeing a lot of commercials for this. And I saw it opening weekend, and I wanted my time and money back. But it wasn't the theater's fault this movie was shit. This ended up being such a goddamn disaster. I mean, he killed off any chances for Speed 3, which, honestly, in retrospect, Speed 2 shouldn't have happened. But there you go. That's pretty much it for the factoids right there. I mean, Speed 2 just basically bombed any potential for the franchise. So there you are. So anyway, Annie can't drive for shit. Hold on, lady driver coming through. She doesn't actually know what Alex does. And Alex is chasing somebody in some kind of ice cream truck or something with a bunch of boxes that are clearly empty, but we have all the glass breaking and all that stuff he's chasing. Joe Morton is leading the LAPD to try and stop whoever this guy is, this nameless, faceless criminal. And multiple wrecks, multiple ridiculous things. The producer wants to chime in about Speed 2 because he's pissed off about the movie existing. He doesn't understand why in the world this happened. So now he's going to come over and he's going to talk about the opening of this because you could not believe that Joe Morton was here because you liked him in Terminator 2. You saw him blown up, and I keep telling you that he actually wasn't blown up. So he wasn't blown up, and he was able to help here. He helped in the intro, and then he looked at me like he was going to kill. Wait, that's you looking at me like you want to kill me. And then they are going to go on a cruise, even though there was a near accident and Annie nearly got everybody killed going on a construction route for a while. And then she was really, really pissed. You know, you could get better doing the driving. Do 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 do. Hi. So anyway, let's get to the rest of this. They go on the cruise. They find various people. Like, okay, fine, I'll put you down. God, jeez, couldn't be more pissed if you tried. Unhinge Willem Dafoe because he can't find his golf clubs. Why can't he find his golf clubs? Why would he want to find his golf clubs when he doesn't golf? Oh, there's electronics, and he's got the big old heavy laptops that were from that, from the mid-90s, like, those portable ones that could be registered as lethal weapons in about 48 states and several countries, and probably a couple universes. The 90s computer tech, they're on the ship. They got this guy Dante. Not an Inferno is not a divine drama or comedy. I think I probably screwed that up. And from there, the producer's just totally checked out at this point. He's disappointed that I would even mention the word Dante. So UB40 was in this playing a song. I totally forgot that UB40 was in this. I also can't believe that UB40 broke up, and I also can't believe that voice came out of that guy. Seriously, look at the lead singer of UB40 and be amazed that something that came out of his that. Anyway, so we get Cruise Diamonds while the producer's just over there in the corner sulking. You'll get your treat for that, don't worry. Geiger basically decides to take control of the ship. Why? Because computer people fired him, or his job fired him, and he has copper poisoning from working with various computers, and now he has leeches to take the copper out of his system so he can live longer. No, really, he has leeches he attaches to his body for that. Yeah. I actually don't think this is a stretch for Willem Dafoe. By the way, there was a deaf girl, and the actress actually was deaf, or still is, I assume. I assume she's still alive. She retired from acting after doing a few things and actually became a teacher doing American Sign Language. That's good. That's good. And you know what? She was fine in this. There were other people that were fine in this, but unfortunately, it seemed like the rest of the writing was done by people that sustained several major head injuries before they decided to write every scene. How dare anybody call themselves a writer doing this movie? So Willem Dafoe is able to move around at will. He manages to get through all this stuff. He manages to put all this computer tech and all this stuff, hack into all these systems because everything was easily hackable then and now. Shirtless Willem Dafoe with leeches isn't necessarily something I wanted to see. If that's something you want to see, this is the movie for you. You only get to see it in one scene. And Jason and Sandra have zero chemistry is what I noted. We get some dancing. He wants to propose to her, even though they've only been dating for a little bit. And then we get other explosions and everything's going down. The system's shutting down and loud noises. Because Willem Dafoe is able to outsmart everybody. Granted, everybody on this goddamn ship is a fucking idiot. But then Drew, the deaf girl, gets... I forget the actress's name. I do apologize. Christine Firkins? Something like that, I think was the name on IMDb. Close to it. Character name of Drew. She's stuck in an elevator. And then Willem Dafoe ends up talking to the people with an all spoopy supervillain voice. Oops, see what you made me do. Then 15 minutes to evacuate or you will die. He stops the ship, lets everybody off because he wants to peruse and go into the diamonds and steal all that shit. And then Drew's trying to get out of the elevator. Drew escapes the elevator through the roof very carefully. While that is going on, there's one lifeboat that's going to fall, including with Drew's parents. They managed to save all but 2 people. They get sucked down and sucked under the goddamn thing. By the way, Willem Dafoe was able to do this because Mr. Geiger put the captain over the goddamn side. Because of course he did. And then the course, it's set to crash. It's set to crash, sir. It's set to crash. Can you believe this? It is set to crash. It is set to crash, and you did nothing about it. You did absolutely nothing to prevent that ship from crashing. I can't believe you. You made it crash. You did nothing. Take your pause and do this and type on the computer and stop it. And stop it. So basically what ends up happening is Drew escapes through the roof. Jason Patrick has a brilliant idea to flood the goddamn ship to slow it down before they crash into something. And then he has to rescue Drew from the soon-to-be-flooded area. And then the Scottish guy, can't give her any more, Captain. Can't give her any more. Can't give her any more, Captain. He just can't. Can't give her any more. And then basically what ends up happening is more zero chemistry notes is what I found out. Fine. Okay, sit down. Yeesh. You'll get fed soon. Don't you react like I won't feed you. He's fine. So basically, Drew gets reunited with her parents. They feel bad for being upset with her. I do have to say that, I mean, I understand why she didn't stick with acting. I thought she was fine here. I thought she could have gone a little bit further with acting. But you know what? Good for her doing what she wanted to do and be passionate about. Enjoy the producer ear right here off to the side if you can see that. Oh, fine. Take your ear away right after I said that. Jerk. So, then he locks Jason Patrick's Alex in a room. How are you going to stop me now, my friend? Ha ha ha! Evil Joker now! That's all I have to say about that. It was just paper. He freaked out. So then Alex, he nearly gets fucked. Well, that really sounded a lot worse than it was intended. He gets burned, or nearly gets burned around the edges because, oh no, he's trapped in a room and the only way out has a grenade. And then, Mr. Girano, I'm going to call him Hamtaro because that's better. I assume that's Mr. Morrison, Return of the Mac. Wrong one. And despite all this, it was nighttime and then suddenly, boom, it's daytime. It just suddenly is daytime. They've been just doing this. They were in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night. Oh, yeah. And basically now they're just gonna now they're gonna just do everything convoluted. By the way, we still have about 45 minutes left. And the idea is to take the giant cable rope that's used for something and put it in the one rudder that's running and really slow it down so they don't crash in this oil tanker. They can't start its engines because plot point. And just go underneath and just go to the propellers. It'll suck you in, but physics won't matter. It's fine. Then Geiger kidnaps Annie, and Annie isn't okay. She isn't okay, not okay Annie. Takes her as a hostage. Willem really tries here, but he can't make it work. Nobody can make it work, especially by this point. The movie was lost. And he goes away on a jet ski, compound or whatever, or jet ski. I think it's a double jet ski deal. And then Jason Patrick is trying to figure out a way to get to them, but they got to slow down the ship. They end up crashing into the tanker briefly. I mean, kind of. It's just structural damage. It's fine. It's fine. The swinging anchor cuts through, nearly gets Jason Patrick. It's fine. The ship can take it. And then they are heading towards the harbor. They see a ship in the harbor, and it's a shallow bay. And if I don't really know the lyrics, I'll make some more up later today. God, New Order and Orgy would be all upset. New Orgy Order. I've seen that movie before. Always delete your search history. So, everybody gets clocked. Everybody's getting killed. Physics, all this stuff's going on. It's fine. Everybody's fine. They run into the god. They destroy resort buildings. They finally end up out of the water on land, and everything stops. It's fine. Everything's been destroyed. And then, wait, the ship's tipping over. Oh, wait, it's fine. We're fine. We get off the ship, and then we're back on land. Oh, wait, no, we're not, because Willem Dafoe apparently doesn't know where land is, and says, Annie, you're my hostage. But then her hands are tied, but she pulls this reverse thing. He slides out on his jet ski. Now she's kind of racing and trying to get away from him. You're my hostage! And then the guy who had the car from the beginning, or from the first one that Keanu Reeves got on, the one that crashed, he's there, and he references getting a lot of therapy. He has a Caribbean girlfriend, and is like, okay, fine, take my boat. And then Willem Dafoe and Annie get on a plane, a water plane, and they're going to take off. But Jason Patrick decides he's going to water ski using his body. It's fine. It's fine. Totally fine. And then they get on a plane. The backpack gets put over the side. So then Willem Dafoe slugs Annie. To be fair, I kind of get it. And then Willem Dafoe ends up, both of them ends up getting off the plane. Willem Dafoe's there and crashes into a tower thing. Rapunzel. Gas is leaking. He blows up. Everybody gets away from the tanker because it's fine. You can outrun a giant tanker exploding. And then she takes her drive test again. Oh, and they're going to be married. They're going to be married because why the hell not? So yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. Speed 2, cruise control, never gets out of first gear. Producer, come over here and say something. No, you don't need to say that. Come here. You didn't like this movie, and you're going to give it a bad grade, aren't you? Bad grade? Bad grade? What is it? F. Okay, you gave it an F. You didn't like it. You would have liked it more if there were cats steering the ship? Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm Charles Rentlin, this is the producer, and I'll see you soon.